Welcome to Buckets, brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. My name is Matt Moore. I'm the senior NBA writer for the Action Network, and this is your official first best bets episode of the 2025-26 season. We have an Epco. Very exciting for us. Appreciate you guys being with us here on youtube.com/the Action Network. Glad to have you with us. Whoever's watching the show live, make sure to go ahead and do that. Appreciate you guys being with us. We are tonight going to give you best bets for the 2025-26 season opener. We've got the Oklahoma City Thunder taking on the Houston Rockets. We have got the Golden State Warriors taking on the Los Angeles Lakers. And to give out best bets for this episode, I've got Michael Fiddle, Fiddle's Picks, the maestro of the market. I got Bryan Fonseca, Bryan Fonseca NY on Twitter. He's at Bryan Fonseca on YouTube. We're on the post show. You hung out with Chuck D.
Yes.
You hung out with Chuck D.
He gave us over an hour. It was great.
Dude.
It was amazing.
It's
amazing.
Glad to see you with us here in the chat. If you're joining us in the chat, drop your best bets for the opening slate, and we'll talk about them at the end of the show. Also joining us, Brandon Kravitz from The Game. He hosts the Favorites podcast as well. You can catch him all over the Action Network. Look, really glad to have you guys back. I'm so glad to be back on the show with you guys, to be doing best bets, official best bet show. We did some best bets last night with Turvey and Joe because I want to make sure that they were able to give out their picks. But this is like your official best bet show, and I'm very glad to be here with you. A reminder, everything we talk about can be found in the award-winning Action Network app. Best way for you to track your picks. You get up-to-second information where the bets and money are coming in from. You're going to find all sorts of cool information about like signals and things like that. We'll be showcasing a lot of that as it goes along. Also, make sure to, if you are listening on a podcast, make sure to give us a 5-star review. You can catch us at every night, Monday through Thursday at 11 Eastern. At youtube.com/the Action Network. We'll be going live every night with best bets throughout the season. And then once football is over, we'll also be on Sunday nights. And then once the playoff starts, we'll be like, I think the last time we were doing, I think it was a lot.
14 episodes a week, I think.
Yeah, it was like, I went a little nuts. We were doing like 21 shows a week. It was crazy. We're going to do a lot of cool stuff. Tonight, we will also talk about King of the Court, big promotion. Lots of people love doing that promotion. We're going to talk about that tonight as well. But I want to start tonight with this question. Season is before us. Usually we're going to start off these shows with kind of like a bet lesson. Like, what did you learn from betting in the NBA last night? Michael Fiddle, I'm going to ask you this. What are you most excited to bet this week in the NBA?
I think this is on brand with the Toronto Blue Jays advancing to the World Series tonight. The Toronto Raptors. I've been all over the Raptors this preseason in win totals. So give me the Raptors. I'm already locked into this. Plus 205 against the Hawks tomorrow night. And I know you guys were going to think I was going to come out here and give a minus 500 that was actually worth minus 700. Give me the Raptors plus 200 on the money line opening night against the Hawks and wait for the market to catch up to the real deal Toronto Raptors.
Woo! Woo! Yeah. So I said last night on the show, and I thought about it more today. Last year, we all got to the week before the season, and it was like all of us were independently doing research, and all of us were like, hey, the Jazz win total is like 29.5. Like, that should not be they should not be have a win total of 29. And we all piled onto the under and got in on the under on the Jazz. And this year, I feel like the Raptors over is the one that we're all like, hey, so like the Raptors are going to be pretty good. So I'm very excited. I think they look good. I went ahead and tailed. I'm going to sprinkle on division probably tomorrow. You can find that in the Action Network app to go ahead and track that down. Bryan Fonseca, what are you most excited to bet this week?
My Charlotte Hornets have 3 very interesting games. Talking about being ahead of the market, Fiddle, with the Raptors. I'm trying to do the same with the Charlotte Hornets this year. They have the Nets on Wednesday. They have the Sixers on Saturday and the Wizards on Sunday. I'm staring at a possible at least 2-1 start, hopefully. Maybe even 3-0. But in all seriousness, I just right now in the Action Network app bet Brandon Miller over 19.5 points against the Brooklyn Nets on Wednesday.
It's a good look. I like that. Yeah, I think Miller's going to get a lot of opportunities. Knipple, I think is going to be an interesting rookie to watch.
Yes.
Man, Hornets Nets. That's one for the true sickos. I'm definitely going to have that one in the 4 box. I'm
The
gonna
battle of the Mann brothers, Terrence Mann versus Trey Mann. What we all signed up to watch.
That's
start the
right.
NBA season.
So, as an admission, I talked my way into my wife into a Memorial Day deal on a TV, which means I picked up another. It was a Labor Day sale. I picked up another one, which means now my setup downstairs, I now have 4 TVs down there, and
Amazing.
I think tomorrow night I'm just gonna run the quad boxes on all of them and see if my head explodes.
See, now I already have my pick for King of the Court. It's Matt Moore with the move like that. That's great.
I'm very excited for it. Brandon Kravitz, what are you looking forward to betting this week in the NBA?
So I'm pretty excited that Desmond Bane hasn't been able to make any threes in the preseason because I think it'll suppress his number to open the year. So Bane threes, I'm hoping that those pop at 1.5s. Last year he sat around 2.5. So that's the hope. Second night of a back-to-back for the Magic against the Bulls on Saturday, but they're at home. And it's the start of the year. Like back-to-backs just don't matter fatigue wise as much at the start of the season, but I'm excited to see. This isn't so much a specific team, but I love catching those teams at the beginning of the year. It's funny that Fiddle mentioned Toronto because this was kind of the team I was going to pull as an example. The teams that start hot but remain under recognized. There's always these teams that end up with these ridiculous like 8-2 records right out of the gate, and you can just hammer money lines the first 2 weeks of the season. Don't know who that team's going to be. It has to materialize and become a reality. We could all sit here and name some options, but until we see it play out, now, early in the season, I'm much more likely to jump on that team than I would be in the middle of the year, where I think we just have a better idea of who these teams actually are.
So one of the best bets from the Betapalooza with Brandon Anderson and Jim Turvey was Magic best record at Thanksgiving. And I have them projected for 12 wins by Thanksgiving. That is only 1.5 wins behind the Cavs and the Thunder. So Magic look like they might get off to a hot start.
What's the number on that?
It was long. I can tell you that.
Wow.
I don't have the number in front of me, but it was long. It's a
double digits.
Yeah. So make sure to check out the Betapalooza episode with Jim Turvey and Brandon Anderson. Okay, my favorite thing to bet is I am very excited to get in on like the middling teams. I love a good mid-off. I love mid-offs in the NBA.
Where the value is.
And I just can't wait to get in on those teams where it's like they're not very good. But they're not very bad either. Excited to get in on all those because that's where the value is in the NBA.
Just say Washington. Just say it.
No, the Washington's not mid. They're bad. I have to like
King Suns Wednesday.
That's it. That's the one. That's the one. Jordan
the Suns mid? Do they get mid status?
Oso Iguodala rebounds. That's chef's kitten. Well, that's the good stuff.
Key on that list stocks if you please.
Yeah, can't wait to get that. Might do an entire defensive centric same game parlay for Suns Kings. I'll have that in the Action Network app. By the way, I'll have a bet card out in the app tomorrow and on Wednesday as well, and routinely throughout the week. So make sure to check that out as well. We are going to do best bets. We are implementing our new format this year, which is 3-2-1 in star format. 3 stars are the best bets, 2 stars are the pretty good bets, and 1 stars are the leans or like a little bit. So you can track all that. By the way, we are tracking all these picks in the Action Network app. We have a Buckets account that I will link in my own, and we will put it into the episode description as soon as I get that from our guy Colin Whitchurch and give it to super producer David Payne. So make sure to check that out as well. Also, I've got over-under picks from all of the fellas over at Buckets that I'm going to publish tomorrow. So I'll give you an idea of where everybody's at on over-unders, even if they're not betting them, because they've given out most of those. For the ones that are betting, make sure to check out the Action Network app. So let's do best bets. But first, I do need to tell you something very important. The Buckets podcast is teamed up with DraftKings Sportsbook, where new customers can bet $5 and get $300 back in bonus bets if your bet wins, and 3 months of NBA League Pass. Stay in on the action and use your bonus bets on DraftKings same-game parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. To get started, use promo code BucketsNBA when signing up with DraftKings. Again, use code BucketsNBA when signing up and bet $5 to get $300 back in bonus bets if your bet wins. Plus, 3 months of NBA League Pass. The crown is yours. So earlier, you might have heard at the beginning of this episode that there was like a bleed over, a repeating of me. And I was like making noises at the other guys because I thought it was coming from them. And because I'm an honest person, I just want to go ahead and say that on the first official episode of the season, I was playing my own show through my own speakers and bleeding through my own microphone and then blaming my coworkers for it. So we are off to a terrific start here on Buckets.
Hey, that's one way to get ratings, right? Just play the episode to ourselves.
Exactly. We're going to do best bets, but I do want to talk about King of the Court. DraftKings, if you're unfamiliar with it, DraftKings runs a King of the Court promotion, and they're going to run it every Tuesday this year. And what it is, and they may run it more, what it is if you bet, you get a $5 bet on a player prop. If the player that you bet on has the most points, rebounds, and assists that night, you win a share of the prize money. And DraftKings is putting in $2 million for Tuesday's slate. Usually it's $1 million. So you get a share in all of that. So if like 500,000 people do it, you get $4. But it won't be that much. And so it was really popular last year, had some great winners. We're going to be breaking this down. I've got Kyle Murray's projections to talk about, and we have our official picks actually for King of the Court for tomorrow night. The heir to the throne is Luka Doncic, over 8.5 rebounds. Which of you fine gentlemen was the one that wanted Luka rebounds? That was you, Fiddle, right?
Yep, that was me. Just thinking that they're going against the Warriors, which is another small group. And then on the Lakers side, they're obviously going to be missing LeBron in this game. And Ayton, will see how proficient of a rebounder he is. But Luka should be gobbling up the rebounds in this one.
So from Roto Grinders, Kyle Murray has given us projections on King of the Court percentage share. And he's got Luka Doncic with a 35.13% chance of taking it home. That's the best. That's the leader in the clubhouse. So getting in on a Luka rebound over, like, hey, if you get in, if Luka does it, great. So you should probably get in on a Luka prop. One of the nice things is like you could bet multiple of these, and if one of them hits, it's not like you get one token, right? So you gotta make sure that you gotta choose which one you want. If you want to go for the favorite, Luka Doncic is the heavy one. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander over 31.5 points is another one on the board there. Kyle Murray's got that one up at 33% versus 35% for Luka. So you've got the option to get in on Shai if you think he's going to be able to do it. I don't know. I think the Houston defense is pretty tough. Bryan Fonseca, what are your thoughts on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander being able to put in 31.5? I mean, look, it usually puts up 32 plus, but that Rockets defense is pretty good.
I mean, he was a 3rd overall pick in my fantasy draft when I took him last night because of his consistency. Like, he's just somebody I'm always expecting to get roughly around 32 points and 10, 11, 12 RA, something along those lines. Maybe not 12 all the time, but he's just a consistency monster. And he's somebody I'm going to like, especially in a game where, look, he's not going to have Jalen Williams and he's not going to have even Isaiah Joe, who, say what you want, but he's a fixture in their team when he's active, especially without Jalen Williams. Like, he's going to have to handle more of the responsibility even against a tough Houston defense. So I don't mind that.
We've also got some longer shots. I love this one. I talked about this one last night. I'm on Alperen Şengün. I'm using the token on Alperen Şengün over 6.5 assists. I'm actually going to play his PRA as well. I think Şengün is a great look here. I think there's a very good chance. Again, I'm just super high on Şengün. I would not be surprised if he's able to get there, even if you just want to play rebounds versus OKC, who are without Jalen Williams. So, you know, if they run double big, Şengün might be the one to wind up with those rebounds instead of Steven Adams if he's boxing out everybody. Entirely possible that could get home. I like the Alperen Şengün look quite a bit. That's going to be my play for King of the Court. I love this one from Brandon Kravitz because I think it's out of the box and you get much longer odds on it. If it hits, the share will be much higher. Austin Reeves over 5.5 assists. What do you think, Kravitz?
We've seen him smash this when LeBron has been off the court. Now, some of that is a little bit outdated because that a lot of those numbers that you look at are also when Luka Doncic wasn't on the team. But Luka's going to have to handle the bulk of the scoring, and he's going to get his assists too. His number's sitting at 8.5. But I think Austin Reeves, just given his playmaking ability, and when Luka's off the court, I wouldn't be surprised if they staggered it to where Austin Reeves is running the show. So he's got opportunities to get assists in just passing to Luka. And then also when Luka's off the floor, I think they're going to let him patrol things. He just has a rich history of really stepping up when LeBron doesn't play. And I think we're getting a bit of a discount on the number because of it.
Like all those kind of options. Fiddle, this is I always like it when there's a promo or an out of the box, or, well, I'm going to be really honest with you, Fid. I like it whenever there's something fun that you're into. And so you actually like this. And I think that that's cool. What are your thoughts on this promotion and like how best to play? Because it is a little bit of game theory.
Yeah. So the best way to maximize this is honestly, assuming you don't even love any of the props and maybe you're not betting prop straight or whatever, because you have to place a straight bet on a prop to then get the token, and it's a minimum of a $5 spend. The best, most advantageous thing you can do is simply bet the $5 on the prop that you're going to correlate to your king of the court choice. And so by putting that minimum spend, you still get the same coin that gets used. You don't have to put a full unit or whatever, $50, whatever you're actually betting game to game. You could just bet $5, absorb the coin, and then go put it on the king of the court player. If you do that enough times over the course of the season, you're inherently going to generate plus EV, because you're putting into this tomorrow's a $2 million prize pot. And I also think tomorrow probably worth it because of the larger prize pot that's going to be distributed, to go a little chalky, let other people kind of screw up, let other people deviate and think that they're going to come away with a big win, and just try and, make the putt and come home with maybe SGA or Luka, or maybe you do both with two $5 bets and go two places. But yeah, I really like this contest that they run, and it's a no-brainer how you generate plus EV in doing it.
All right, let's hit some best bets. Let's do best bets for the opening night of the NBA season. We will start with our 3-star bets. We're going to start with Michael Fiddle. Fiddle, what is your best bet for the opening slate?
My first dub on the season will be the Dubs, the Golden State Warriors -2.5 against the spread against the LA Lakers at LA. If we go back to last season's market-based power rating, so like where these teams were going to be priced towards the end of the year, the Warriors were rolling 30-11 after they acquired Jimmy Butler down the back half of the season, and they were one of the top 5 power ranked teams in the NBA going into the playoffs. They were favored against Houston Rockets in that playoff series where they didn't even have home court advantage, and they end up winning in 7 on the Rockets floor. This team was really good, and they win game 1 but get injured against the Timberwolves. This was legitimately a contender and a top 5 team, ATS, as if you were going to rank them neutral against other opponents. And then we look towards the offseason. They're going to be healthy now. They add in Al Horford, and so they get an ideal big to pair next to Draymond to split minutes at center. This is a really good defense that should be taking the court tomorrow. So I really like the Warriors a lot. And then if I was going to price that at the end of last season and then do market adjustments for what happened in the offseason and then obviously LeBron's injury, it would have been like Warriors -1.5 with LeBron. So obviously you can't take all of that. There's a boost for skinny Luka. There's an Ayton component in there, but to get to 2.5 is just very easy for me. I think we see this close at 3 and maybe like 3 -115. So I do think tomorrow the Warriors are going to be the obvious sharp side. We've seen this number move out in the last day or so as betting syndicates and betting groups have showed up to the NBA space. They've, obviously invested in NFL, and you're not going to bet NBA weeks ahead of time with preseason, and like obtaining NBA CLV is fantastic, but it's not worth as much to tie up the money for weeks and then hope that it matriculates in one game. So you come to the market a few days before the game and you see this Warriors action coming in right now. Warriors -2.5, a no-brainer for me.
I've got Lakers money line as a lean. I gave it out last night as a 1-star. Don't regret it. The injury report for the Warriors, not ideal. Moses Moody is out. So they've got a few guys that are kind of banged up. Also thought Jimmy Butler popping up probable on that injury report was interesting. Just like
think it's
right
like
away.
We're just going to start the ball now so we don't get in trouble later. And then I made the joke earlier that Kuminga was also questionable, but considering Moody's out, I think Kuminga is going to be active and probably play. The one thing that would have kept Kuminga on the bench would have been Steve Kerr and not his actual injury. But with Moody, it does seem like Kuminga is going to get some minutes.
Yeah. You can catch, if you're in the chat right now, if you give us a like and subscribe, you can also click that link right now. We've got the quick link up there for you for Fiddle's pick on it. I do make this Lakers minus 1.6 after I did the injury adjustments. Lakers injury report has been annoyingly delayed, so I'm still waiting on that. But look, I'm going to probably bet a little bit. I will say the trend, here's a good trend in your favor. I looked at the last 5 seasons because we have seen kind of the shift towards a little bit dominant towards favorites. The parity thing is not like anybody can win any night. The parity is more like there's more great teams, there's more good teams, and there's more bad, and like there's fewer but more solidified bad teams. Home dogs, season opener, Western Conference, last 5 seasons, 4-7 ATS, 36%. So it's a small sample, but it hasn't been good for Western Conference home dogs. And you see this kind of actually across. The reason that I did the Western Conference split is this is like an interesting kind of thing that I found. Home favorites for the West do very well. It's one of the reasons I'm on the Thunder, which we'll talk about again because somebody else has that bet tonight. Home dogs do not do well in the Western Conference. In the Eastern Conference, home dogs do well. Home favorites don't because the conference isn't as good. So the dogs are better against the spread and the favorites aren't as good. I do think, honestly, if you're going to look at trends this season, and you should using Bet Labs, which you can sign up for using Action Pro, I would recommend that anytime that you have a system that you think is effective or that you like, run it through the conference split and just check it, because you're going to be pretty surprised at the Western Conference, Eastern Conference splits on most of the trends. Market, obviously, I'm not surprised the market's on. I think the market's been high on the Warriors pretty consistently. They tend to think that team is really great. Kravitz, you got thoughts on Warriors, Lakers in that game?
I have a lean on it. I'll get to that with the 1 star. I kind of want to get in and get out with this game, not just because it's 10 o'clock my time, but these are 2 teams that I think are both generally overrated in the market, facing off against one another at the start of the season when we've had this LeBron news for the last week plus now. I just feel like there's no real good read for me on game long. The number's so short. I just don't really feel like we're getting a lot of value here. So I would lean Lakers just because I do tend to bet home teams in their openers. The energy in the building is unmatched.
Right.
It's interesting that you bring up that Western Conference stat, and I think that stuff is really valuable. I tend to, just because I work with an Eastern Conference team. I watch a lot of Eastern Conference basketball. I tend to bet slightly more in the East than I do in the West. I mean, it's not like I exclude one or the other, but I think part of the reason why, just anecdotally, without seeing any numbers, one of the reasons I very rarely fade teams in their home opener is probably because of a history in the Eastern Conference, and you mentioned some of the success there. So for me, it would be Lakers, but that's just more of an opinion than it is a bet.
If you go back all the way in the databases that are available, this evens out. It's a more recent trend, which I think is kind of interesting with the Western Conference home dogs. Okay, let's go to Bryan Fonseca's 3-star bet. What do you got, Bryan?
With one of the best nicknames in the NBA, probably the best nickname in the NBA, the man who saved basketball, Aaron Wiggins, over 1.5 threes. It's an official nickname on his Basketball Reference, and that's NBA like internet lore. You can go look that up from an article in the Oklahoman. It's a serious nickname. Anyway, Aaron Wiggins, over 1.5 threes. This was at plus 103 earlier today. It is minus 120 now. I logged it at plus 103. It's moved because of 2 things. One, Jalen Williams is officially out. We've kind of known he was going to be out, but he's officially not going to play in this game. The insistence is that he won't be out for very long. We'll see, because he's kind of behind schedule. We're monitoring that. Isaiah Joe is also out. So this kind of opens things up for Aaron Wiggins, who averaged, according to StatMuse, 20.4 points last year in games that Jalen Williams did not play in. 11 game sample size. And in that stretch, you can find several different instances of him making at least 2 threes, 7 of the 11, if my math is correct. So we're expecting long range shooting, we're expecting points, and we're expecting Aaron Wiggins to save basketball on the opening night for the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Our hero.
Yeah, no Dorian Finney-Smith here. And if they're playing that bigger lineup with Jabari alongside Şengün and KD, I don't know how much of a closeout threat they're going to have on some of these. The Thunder's 3-point rate in the preseason was pretty preposterous. They were absolutely getting him up at a high rate in preseason. So I'm kind of curious to see if that's one of the adjustments from Mark Daigneault. I do think that if we look back at the playoffs too, not that you can compare playoffs to game one, but you did see Aaron Wiggins kind of consistently get rotation minutes for OKC because they believe in him. Like, he has the trust of the coaching staff. So in the absence of some of these guys, because not only is Jalen out, Isaiah Joe's out, and Kenrich Williams is out. So that's like a lot of forwards that are not available. So I think Wiggins is likely to get more time, and more times for him means more threes. This is a very good play. Fiddle, you got any thoughts on the 3-point market here?
I like it. I for sure agree. You'll get into it on my 2-star, but yeah, I will be looking at points in this game.
Okay, good stuff. Let's go to Kravitz. What do you got for your 3-star?
Thunder -7.5 against these newfangled Houston Rockets. And I think this one's probably, it touched the 7 at one point. I don't know if it sticks at 7.5, but I wouldn't play it anything higher than this. It's nothing more than the official news of Jalen Williams as far as seeing some of the line movement here. But even with that, I show some value on OKC. Their home court advantage. We just talked about how valuable that can be. You mentioned with favorites, specifically in the Western Conference, but in home openers, the energy in the building, it's playoff-like, and OKC has one of the best that's out there. I am a Rockets believer, but this team it's going to take time to gel. It always does. We just expect this to work like NBA 2K. You slam stars together, and voila, you're rattling off a 10-game winning streak. I get that we're all excited, and I will definitely be backing the Rockets at some points very early on in the season. But you got to remember that when OKC wins, they tend to pull away, and that place is going to be a madhouse. OKC beat Houston by 9 and 19 in Oklahoma last season, for what it's worth. Not often can you bet OKC, guys, and be the contrarian. But looking at the splits on action, 63% of the bets right now on the Houston Rockets. So an overwhelming majority of the bettors are backing the road team in OKC on ring night. No, thank you. I'll take the Thunder.
Yeah, we said that I liked this at 9.5 last night. Said to wait. I went ahead and made the injury adjustments for Jalen Williams being out alongside the other guys. I've still got this. I was at 11.5. I'm right in line with the market movement. I just started from a higher place. So it was 9.5. I made it 11.5. Jalen Williams was ruled out. It moved to 9.5. My number went to 7.5. My number went to 9.5. So I still got 2 points of value on this. So I'm absolutely on this for my best bet tomorrow, which I gave out last night. And as Kravitz mentioned, we are seeing sharp action moving in on OKC. That's what we're tracking. Fiddle, what have you seen in the market on this number?
I think it's just, I agree with what Brandon said, that the reason why it's come back towards the thought, like the Houston taking a little bit of action and going back to 7 at some places, is really just the heels of the Jalen Williams news. If you compare line history to when the news was announced, it's just, yeah, it lines up perfectly with that. So I would agree. For me, it's Thunder or nothing. And I think the one thing that you don't want to worry about is playmaking. And we're questioning the Houston playmaking without Van Vliet and where exactly it's going to come from. And that's against OKC's defense on the first night of the season. That's a tough task, and that's a tough feat. So I think a lot of transition opportunities for OKC is in store for this one.
You're going to have people out there that just simply overrate the fact that Kevin Durant has shown up, and that's going to take hold in game number 1. And against an OKC team, they're going to go, oh, well, they're without their second best player. OKC is the deepest team in the NBA. As great as J-Dub is, they're built to overcome this sort of thing. So this just feels like an OKC roll. We're all sitting back the day after the game going, uh-oh, is this Houston thing going to work? And then,
I think it'll be season's over. Thunder are running it back, just like we did when the Celtics won on opening night and when the Nuggets won on opening night.
I just think people see these large numbers and they're jarred by it and immediately want to take the underdog. These, especially OKC, I mean, they're kind of in a league of their own with this, but some of these numbers just don't matter. Like once they throttle up in the fourth quarter, if they have a double-digit lead, forget it. You're not hanging around for that.
Last season, OKC #1 in the league against the spread, even with their long numbers, and covered at over a 60% clip.
There you go. Better said. That's what I was trying to say.
All right, let's get to some other best bets. We'll go quicker on these other ones. Michael Fiddle, what's your 2-star?
I'll take the over in this Houston and OKC game. 226.5, 227.5. Good with either of them. Plenty of that out in the market. I actually think with the Van Vliet injury, everyone is concerned about the Rockets' ability to settle into some playmaking stuff. The reaction is the inverse. The pace is going to increase more than ever. They're going to try and run out in transition more than ever. So I actually think you have to play the pace factor for totals more than the lack of shooting with losing FVV or the lack of half-court playmaking without FVV. But this is just a pace play, and I just mentioned it before. Liked Bryan's threes prop because I was expecting points. Like Brandon's OKC ATS because I'm expecting a lot of transition opportunities. This is a field goal attempt is going to drive the total over type of spot. So my 2-star play is OKC Houston, and I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing numbers north of 228, 228.5 tomorrow.
Yeah, this one I think over the summer, took some action on the under, not enough for it to move anywhere. And then now we're definitely seeing the bump as it's gone up from 225.5 and open to 227.5, like Fiddle mentioned. I lean towards the over as well. I do kind of think it's, I don't know what the Rockets 3-point rate's going to be like. That's something I'm going to be keeping an eye on because I don't know. I talked about this all throughout the preseason based off of their, when I talked about their win total was that they had 12.4 3-pointers last year. They lost 9.4 of them with trades and injury. They only made back 4 of them. Who's going to make up the difference? And Reed Shepherd looks like he's going to absolutely get them up. But that's maybe like the only thing here because I do think the pace is going to be fast. One reason I like the Thunder and I like the over 2 is Houston, because they lost Fred VanVleet, they don't necessarily like their weakness is going to be turnovers. And that was evident in preseason. All of the 2 big lineups were like, wow, the 2 big lineup looked awesome. Turnovers. Guess what you don't want to have turnovers against? The Oklahoma City Thunder. They're going to turn them into quick baskets. That's a problem. So Fonseca, that's why I'm with Fiddle on this. I like the over here too.
Yeah, I think we might get more pace than people expect also. And to Brandon's point earlier, because Houston is a team that will need time to gel with Kevin Durant, even though like he's as plug and play of a star as you can get even now, like it's still going to take time and they don't have Fred VanVleet. Like they don't have a natural initiator there. Amen Thompson, is going to be shouldering a lot of that. And I do think that could lead to a surprising amount of speed, I guess, and they're just rushing possessions, which plays into the hands of Oklahoma City, which I think, to Brandon's point, will rear its ugly head in the second half, which I have a play on that we'll get to a little bit later. But yeah, I think there are a bunch of reasons to see points, transition, some turnovers, maybe more so from Houston's side, because there'll be a level of clunkiness. But I also don't think that means we're going to get like a low scoring game because of that clunkiness, if that makes sense.
Yep. Fonseca, what's your 2-star?
Speaking of defense, Amen Thompson over 2.5 steals plus blocks. So
starting off the season with a stocks bet, like a true sicko.
we talked about this a few weeks ago about like he's just going to be a stocks monster again this year. He got in his 69 regular season games, he got over 2.5 stocks in about half of them. It was either 33 or 34 by my count. So about half of these games. This is a number also that I think I feel like, and even though it's against Oklahoma City, I feel like I'm getting it at a good number now, whereas later on, like there's a chance this could be heavily juiced. So, you know, the opening weeks and games are always about trying to sort of beat the market, as Fiddle mentioned earlier, with some of the teams that we might like very much or some of the players we might like very much. And I think this is one of those examples where even though Amen Thompson, I think he's getting a little too much love for my liking, where it's like, yo, can we, all right, wait. Just like he's not an all-star yet. Let him prove it. Don't put too much on his plate yet. But I am immensely high on him. And I do think that he's going to, at least I'm not worried about the defense at all. Like this is one I'm definitely going to play. And I think even in a game where, you know, Oklahoma City, they don't turn over the ball a ton, they're not going to have Jalen Williams. Shea will have to do more. We'll see who else handles. We have a pretty good idea of who that's going to be. But I think there will be opportunities here for Amen Thompson to get the steals, get the blocks, and wind up with 3+ at the end of the night.
Look, I've been one of the guys that's like, I think we're getting a little carried away with Amen, but I'm never going to be against playing him on the defensive side because he is going to be a monster and he's going to play so much this season. And with the absence of J. Will, I actually think that opens up to more driving from the other guys, Case and Wallace, etc. That can lead to, I think, Amen being able to sneak in there and make some plays off ball as well to be able to grab this like that as well, especially the stocks part of it, because he's also a freak at blocks. Like he's just an athletic monster. He is disturbing how good he is. Brandon Kravitz, what's your 2-star?
It scares me to death to play anything involving an OKC turnover. But anyway, my 2 play, I mean, Amen Thompson. Everyone's excited about him at the start of the year. Have your fun. Austin Reeves, over 27.5 points plus assists. Last season, in games where LeBron did not play, he averaged 36 points and assists in those games. A couple of those were with Luka, not on the team yet, but the facilitation's always been there for him. Really came on as a scorer, especially in the last month of the season. He scored at least 28, just the scoring. So he got there on points alone last season 6 times in the last month of the season. The Warriors do have a good defense, but they're getting older as every day passes, and I think they're going to be a little slow out of the gate here. I think he puts together a nice stat line. I'm going to target the points and assists at 27.5. 2 stars.
I'm thinking. What's his probable matchup? Gary Payton, probably.
I would think so. You know,
Butler on him.
They're just so much of this attention is going to be on Luka. He's just going to kind of be able to. I feel like he's going to be able to pick his spots in this matchup.
I don't think Butler's going to be on Luka for the majority of the contest, though. Like that could be a fourth quarter thing, but not the majority of the game.
I'm trying to think about who they're going to put him on. Cooper. Oh wow, it's going to be Jimmy versus Cooper. Because Cooper's basically running point, and they'll probably have Jimmy on him at least some of the time. You're not going to put D'Lo on him, right?
And you're not putting Draymond on Reeves, of course.
Right.
So
you're not putting Draymond on Reeves. It's going to be interesting. I don't know who the matchup is going to be for Reeves in this one. I think that's really interesting.
Kuminga? Question mark? In the minutes he does get, like,
yeah,
that's always hit or miss.
I think the Warriors defense projects pretty well from a lot of different perspectives. So this will be I think a really good test in that opener. It'll also, I think it'll be very weird to see this team without LeBron. And like, what does Reeves look like when he doesn't have LeBron and he's got Luka next to him? I kind of like this play, Kravitz, because what you're kind of banking on is like, hey, Reeves is capable of having these big nights, but he defers because he's third in the pecking order. But he's not with LeBron out.
And that's kind of the thinking, is that he's had to step up and be the guy in the past, and that's how you get to some of these numbers. I feel like he's either going to have to be an elite scorer tomorrow night, or he's going to have to be the lead facilitator. I feel like it's going to be one or the other, and we can kind of get home with him comboing this, or maybe he just scores 30 points and I don't care about assists. That 27.5 number I really like.
Also, he's in a contract year, so we may see some Austin Reeves overs this year.
If the preseason means anything to you guys, he looked really good in the preseason.
He's good. Austin Reeves is good. He's legitimately good.
He led the Lakers in points in the preseason.
If he was in the Eastern Conference, he might have been an all-star already.
That's who's going to guard him. Josh Gillum. Good for you, man. Because Josh Gillum in the comments says Pods.
Good call.
And that's the answer. It's going to be Pods versus Reeves. That's a good call.
That I might have to 3-star that. Can I get 2 3-star plays?
Throwing him on there.
Yeah, right. I'm okay with that matchup.
Michael Fiddle, who did in fact provide me with 3 bets tonight, which I'm very, very, very proud of him for, considering this is a 2-game slate that has been like nudged all over in off season. So it's like been little tiny bets here and there, and then like all this, and he still gave us 3 bets. I'm very, very happy with that for a 2-game slate. Fiddle, what's your 1-star play for the night?
I look forward to seeing my handicapping chops early on night 1 and see if these 3 also close ahead. Because if they all do, with all the movement that's been back and forth, I'll pat myself on the back and say that was the purpose. Third 1 star is going to be Lakers, Warriors over 225.5, 226. Okay. This is just JJ Redick screaming pace at us all off season, and the Lakers wanting to play a lot faster. The Warriors should put up a lot of threes early and often. They should be spacing 5 out with Horford also now there. So I think this is another over spot, and I think this is going to be a fast-paced game and where we see a lot of free throws potentially, with Luka stopping the clock and potentially getting to the line often. I actually would assume it might be Draymond on Luka, and I would assume he's probably in the locker room saying that he wants the assignment because now he doesn't have to be the lone big with Horford there. He's probably like already thinking about his DPOY candidacy this year. And he's like, give me Luka on night 1. So I think we might see Draymond on Luka and give me Luka to dominate that with speed. And so I actually think this is a game where we might see both teams trying to play fast and faster than they did last season. So this number is pretty much priced on the nose to where it would be last season and without LeBron. And so I actually think we should see this go up a little bit, and wouldn't be surprised if we saw 227 before tip-off.
Massive sample of 10 games. Steve Kerr, the over is 6-4 in his games. Bryan Fonseca, your 1-star.
Rockets first half plus 3.5.
Okay.
So I agree with Brandon where he thinks Oklahoma City is going to pull away and eventually cover. Weirdly enough, Oklahoma City last year against the spread, 21-22 at home ATS in the first half. That's it. I was a little surprised by that, but also they would have like, the third quarter, the turnover machine, arises, and then all of a sudden they're putting you away, whatever. Obviously queasy about it. This is why it's my 1-star, because I don't like betting against the Thunder at home. But it's like a hedge bet. Like I also think there could be some value maybe if you really want to, like, hey, Houston surprises us early and they run out of steam. Oklahoma City kind of figures them out, and then they just run away within the second half. Like I'm always looking for ways in the NBA to bet the team that I think is going to lose to win the first half and then lose in the second half. I did that with the Heat a lot, for example, the last season and the season before. But Oklahoma City last year, they weren't a great first half team. ATS at home, they were under 500, also under 500 in the first quarter as well. So I was like, all right, we'll take a nudge that Houston just has this hot start on the road with a new look team. And they have Oklahoma City off their game. Oklahoma City shorthanded. Jalen Williams is out. Isaiah Joe is out, as we've mentioned a few different times. And that does matter in terms of offensive process. And then Oklahoma City gets their timing, figures it out, and then finishes them off in the second half. So I could see that sort of being the game script here, if you will.
I like this a lot because I did notice that second half of the year. So some of the stuff I'm kind of interested in on OKC early. Second half of the year, the defense was not amazeballs. It was great and it was terrific, but it wasn't like, oh God, this is horrifying. I have looked upon the face of God and have been judged and am unworthy, which is how I felt in the first half of the season last year. Second half, it was like pretty good defense. And I'm kind of curious to see whether or not that trend continues. Their offense ticked up. So I kind of wonder this year if we're going to get, like I did on Locked On NBA today, we were doing predictions for top 5 offense defense. And I had OKC slip into third because the number 1 defense over the last 13 seasons, their following year defensive rank, the average was 4.3. Like it slides a little bit. There was only 2 teams that went back to back as the number 1 defense. It's hard to do. It's not as sticky as we think it is. That's kind of the answer with both elite offense and defense, which is like, is it sticky? It is. Is it like really sticky? No, it is not. Like, it's not like you just rattle off number one. So I am kind of curious about that. And this trend where you talked about the first half, the Thunder would oftentimes be like, uh-oh, the Thunder are actually going to lose a game. And then the third quarter would come and it's like, there they go. And it was insane. Like the turns were nuts. So I kind of like this play from that perspective. I'm not going to put it in the parlay, but I really like it. And I may on my own look and see what the number jumps to if we include.
I wouldn't put it into parlay either, to be clear.
Kravitz, your 1 star on the night.
Now, real quick, isn't your move to then, if you think OKC is going to win, shouldn't you just parlay the OKC money line with the Rockets first half spread?
No,
isn't that your
probably
brand, Brian?
Well, it depends on the situation because you can't do that here though. Like you could even, there's a market where you could just find Houston money line first half, Oklahoma City money line full game. That said, it's a 1-star bet.
Okay. I feel you. My 1-star bet is the Lakers.
Hang on. I gotta go back to this. Because now you got me started. I wanted to see what this number was.
Yeah, I thought I was about to end up in Buckets jail for derailing the.
No. Because now you got me.
Buckets jail. Can that be a thing?
Yeah, we'll create Buckets jail.
We need
Brandon
a graphic of
there.
bars.
There's a small bucket in the corner of your cell.
That's where Brandon Anderson lives, is Buckets jail. So this is kind of crazy. The Oklahoma City Thunder in the regular season, when trailing at half, were still 11-12, 48% ATS for the pregame number, for the pre-flop. Like they covered 48% of the time,
half the time
on the pre-flop number after trailing at half, which if you're wondering what's the normal number of that? Every other team in the league last season was 29.9% against the pre-flop number. So the Thunder were 20% better than the rest of the league average when trailing at half. So,
and apparently, because I pointed out their first half ATS record at home was 21-22. Apparently, their spread number on average was 7.5 for the first half, which sounds like a lot to cover. So in this first half, it's only 3.5, which is another thing to watch out for.
Fiddle, you're my math whiz. If you're going to employ this as a strategy, and I want to be very clear that Michael Fiddle would never employ this as a strategy, but I just indulge me here, Fids, okay? If you're going to employ this as a strategy, should you pre-flop parlay Rocket spread first half, Thunder spread full game, or should you just take the first half and then roll that over into the Thunder money line at half?
Yep, that's exactly what I was going to say. Do it as a manual parlay, and that way, a lot of the reasons for that is it depends on where your outs are and how many places you have to bet, because it's very rare that you'll get the best number in the market for both places. So if you can get the best number in the market and you can get closing line value on the number and you could get an inverse correlation tax on your SGP, fine. It's okay. Like it's not a great idea, but it's not the worst idea. You might come away.
That's the most tepid endorsement of a bet ever.
Exactly. But if you have the ability to say, I'm going to play the best number in market on Houston in the first half, and then I'm going to come the other way and find the best number on OKC money line, and let's just say, assume they're minus 110s, right? So you lay a 1.1 to win 1 unit on the first half spread, then you could go ahead and you can risk 2.1 on the Oklahoma City money line. And if it might be even like, what if Houston's up 13 and you're looking at it's like you could even get plus odds. You could potentially get even more bang for your buck if you do it manually, depending on how much Houston covers by. And if not, if they don't cover in the first half, the play's dead anyways. Or you could then rebalance. You could judge it. Did SGA, tweak his wrist and now he's like questionable to return? Okay, I don't want to do that anymore. You gain information also by waiting. So I would manual parlay that, which is actually applicable.
But that's like a lot of work for him if it's a football night, he's going to be watching his fantasy team. So I understand it from Fonseca.
There is tomorrow. 2-0 in fantasy football today. Also, real quick.
Thank you.
Thank you,
the
Nico
people
Collins
waiting.
And Kate Osher.
All right, Kravitz. What's your
real quick?
No, we gotta go. We gotta go.
I just want to say there's a plus 4.5 out there. First half Rockets. That's it.
All right, Kravitz.
My 1-star play is Bryan Fonseca, week 8 in fantasy. Lakers plus half a point first quarter against the Warriors. I don't want to overuse what these teams did last year. I think we have a tendency to do that, but I'm going to do that here anyway. The Lakers last season, 5th in points per game scored in the first quarter. Golden State, 27th. Where the Lakers are going to miss LeBron, it's not the first. It's going to be the fourth quarter. LeBron was one of the best fourth quarter players in the league last year. But out of the gate, at home, crowd behind you, the Warriors are always comfortable to feel a game out before they go wild. So even if it's a great Warriors game, it might not be out of the gate. I feel like get in early with this Lakers team, get out. The best feel I have for this game is first quarter, and then I'm done.
All right. That is going to do it for our best bets. I will show this graphic again at the end here at youtube.com/the Action Network. But here are the best bets from the fellas tonight. Bryan Fonseca, 3 stars. Aaron Wiggins over 1.5 threes. 2-star. Men Thompson over 2.5 stocks. And a 1-star on the Rockets. +4 now in the market first half. Brandon Kravitz likes the Thunder -7 as his 3-star. Austin Reeves over 27.5 points and assists. 2-star. And the Lakers +0.5 first quarter on a 1-star play. Michael Fiddle likes the Warriors with the sharp side -2.5 as his 3-star. He likes Houston OKC over. There's a 227.5 in the market. There's some 226.5 still out there. And his 1-star is the Warriors Lakers over 225.5. You can check last night for my bets as well as on the card. They'll be on actionnetwork.com. Before we get out of here, DraftKings Sportsbook is your official sponsor of Buckets. And as such, we are going to be providing a DraftKings Sportsbook same game parlay on our picks tonight. If you play Aaron Wiggins, 2+ 3-pointers made, Oklahoma City Thunder -7.5, and the over 227.5. So we take Kravitz's 3-star bet, Fiddle's 2-star bet, and Fonseca's 3-star bet. Put those together, we get 5-1 return, and that's a pretty good game script. The over correlated with Aaron Wiggins 3s, correlated with the Thunder covering. It's a pretty good correlated parlay value there at +500. So that is your official DraftKings Sportsbook parlay, brought to you by Buckets for the opening slate. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate you guys being with us. Thanks to David Payne for working with me on the production side. One more look at our best bets before we get out of here. You can catch Michael Fiddle at Fiddle's Picks on Twitter and the Action Network app. Fiddle, what's the new name of the podcast? You changed it?
NBA betting with Fiddle. Yeah, I figured to make it easy. I'm also no longer doing other sports, so just NBA betting with Fiddle.
NBA betting with Fiddle. Bryan Fonseca, NY on Twitter and on Blue Sky. At Bryan Fonseca on YouTube. Hanging out with Chuck D over at the New York Post, which is amazing. Brandon Kravitz from The Game. You can catch him on the Favorites podcast. Check that out every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. It's a great show. You're going to have a really good time listening to it. Those guys have a great vibe. The 3 of those lovely people have an awesome vibe going on with their picks, talking NFL every week. We will have complete coverage for you going forward, 11 o'clock Eastern every night. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate you guys being with us. Oh, I forgot. I got to do this. I got to do the comments because we had people get in on the chat. And that's very important to me.
I saw a great one in the comments.
Brian D says, I bet a -7 OKC Pacers on Thursday. No way that could be the line, right?
Can I respond to that?
Yes.
Thank you, Brian. I bet it myself. Keep coming to the live streams. I will give you good bets. You give me good bets. I appreciate you.
Trade and trade. Reed Shepard, 8.5 points from Cash Me Out 716. Fonseca, do you think that Reed Shepard can get over that line? Do you think that OKC is just going to play him off the board by making his life hell with turnovers?
See, I have no bets in Lakers Warriors for this reason. Like, I want to see what's going to happen, and I feel the same about Reed Shepard, where I'm like, I don't care to be first to market here. I feel like if you do really like Reed Shepard, you should bet him. I'm on the fence, and I don't know what he's going to look like against this Oklahoma City defense, even if they're a little bit shorthanded. So, but if he, like, there's a world where he just punches in 3 threes by halftime. So who knows? And they're going to need his spacing, honestly. So I could see this happening. I just won't bet it myself.
Kravitz, Cash Me Out also likes Curry over 25.5 points. Steph going to get the thing done?
Yeah, the Lakers defense is nothing to write home about.
Yeah.
Steph ought to come out swinging.
I don't know who's going to be trailing him. I don't know who they're going to have defending him. That's concerning.
Austin Reeves.
Yeah. Austin Reeves.
They don't even have Cam Reddish to throw out there anymore.
Well, he's in
They might put
Lithuania.
Vanderbilt on him, to be honest. They might just try and hit him.
That prop is correlated with me not wanting to bet the Lakers anything beyond the first quarter.
Yeah.
Jesus. Oh, well, Gabe Vincent probably, when he does come into the game, will have some Steph. I don't think you're giving Marcus Smart. I don't know if Marcus Smart is at that point of his career anymore.
Yeah. Mike Weisberg wants to talk about the Sixers Celtics game and how we should take every Embiid over. Well, you have to come back tomorrow night, Mike. We'll talk a little bit about it on tomorrow night's show. Appreciate you guys being with us. Make sure to check out everything on the Action Network. We'll see you guys again next time. Till then, let's get buckets.